First, I'd like to discuss. Let's change my glasses. Put on these ones. I'd like to discuss the cost of institutional racism and its ethical implications for healthcare. Its importance to society. Basically, that racism in healthcare possesses a critical ethical problem. Its prevalence can dissipate the trust that the racial and ethnic minorities put in the healthcare system and undermine its ability to deliver. It basically just say to deliver, like under Rawlson's notion of fair, equality, and opportunity. Ensure equitable access to all segments of society. It can generate more social trust in a context of institutional barriers that preclude equitable access to healthcare services that adhere to a traditional and individualist echoes and ignores the cultural specificities of minority groups are likely to, perpetrate existing disparities in health outcomes. Now, if not addressed, its prevalence can dissipate the trust of the racial and ethnic minorities put into the healthcare system. Like I said before, some of the consequences are preventable disadvantages in healthcare and your well-being. I want to talk about the impact of racism on ethnic minorities' mental health. Its importance to our society that there is an imbalance in the knowledge base of white and non-white on psychological processes directly or indirectly affected by racism. However, in comparison with how much we know about cognition and the behavior of white individuals who hold like varying levels of racial bias, we know relatively little about how being an actual actor or potential target of those racially biased encounters that affects racial minorities and mental health. To be sure, psychology and other social sciences have shown like a long-standing interest in and have made major contributions to the understanding of the delirious, as you can say, effects of race and racism on racial minorities, primarily blacks. For example, psychological research has documented that racial bias and racial stereotypes matter in a high stakes context, such as in employment and criminal justice. Now, if we don't address this, it's white individuals who hold like those varying levels of racial biases. Basically, we relatively little know really not too much about it right now. So the worst case scenario, racial bias can have deadly consequences, such as in the case where, like, let's say police officers' tendencies in like in a computer simulation is more prone to shoot at an unarmed black criminal suspect more frequently than at an unarmed white suspect. So I want to get into a little institutional racism in the child welfare. Um, it is a systematic oppression, subjugation, and control of one racial group by another dominant or more powerful racial group made. Let's say possibly by any manner in which like society is structured. In a society, racism emanates from white institutions, white cultural values, and white people. The victim of racism in this society are black people and other oppressed racial and ethnic minorities. It's important to society in is that the individual, like families and social work as a profession, is that it examines how institutional racism influenced the operation of the child welfare system to result in desperate adverse effects on Black children and their families. It assesses the impact of other systems, notably mental health, special education, and juvenile justice on the child's welfare system. It examines the extent to which decision-making processes at various stages of child welfare, screen in black children and screen out white children. It describes how systematic racism denies vital social and economic support to kin caregivers who are responsible for their related children, while black children comprise about, let's say, one of five children in the nation's population today. They account for more than two out of five of 600,000 children who are removed from their families and placed into the foster care system. Now, if this is not addressed, it's blacks accounts. Also, there's another number that black accounts for two-fifths of all children in foster care. This is comparable to the proportion of 40% of all poor children who are black. And the consequences to this is the foster care system unwillingly incubating tomorrow's underclass. Black families are more likely than white families to be reported and substantiated for child maltreatment. Basically, as social workers, we want to just address that. We have, an obligation to care and to challenge social injustice. As social workers, also, we pursue social change, particularly with and on behalf of vulnerable and oppressed individuals and groups such as Black children and youth with the child welfare system. We are obligated to respect the inherent dignity and worth of a person. As social workers, we all must, and we definitely must, have the heart to treat each person in a caring and respectful fashion, mindful of cultural and ethnic diversity. Thank you. How can I see it though?